up the status. Now she looking like an actress, yeah.
Alright guys, so I got some good news and some bad news. The good news is that my latest video on UK rap just got me closer to 1K subs, which is a fucking dub, baby. Wow! So thanks to all the new subs and constant support I get on this channel. But now the bad news is that we got a new Migos album. Aww. Wait, Offset ain't in Migos no more? Well, that just makes this album 10 times worse. But yet the Atlanta duo of Quavo and Takeoff have joined up to drop Only Built for Infinity links, being a mixture of trap beats and catchy choruses to not be anything different from what we heard before when there were 3 people in the group. Alright, so if I had to describe this album in one word, it would be... And that's just the surface level. I mean, I guess if I really wanted to get anything out of this project, I would have to install a switch in my head just to turn off my brain. Then I can finally listen to this album and enjoy it. And it's not like it's bad or even complete utter dog shit. It's just the fact that there isn't really much from this project that really stands out, no matter how many members there are in Migos anymore. Like, it literally just sounds like Culture 3 without Offset. But I guess if there's one plus of this album, is that it just doesn't seem as bloated as its predecessors. Though there are some tracks on this project that still drag out or were just pointless fillers, such as Hell Yeah, To The Bone, and Stunna. But at the same time, it's Migos, and if there's one thing that they're good at, it's dragging out something for far longer than they really have to. But as for the rapping, it wasn't really anything too crazy aside from Quavo mentioning Saweetie on the track Messy. This project is mainly just filled with braggadocious and materialistic bars, alongside some simple catchy choruses for anyone to really indulge in, but at least it helps the album seem somewhat cohesive. And I have to acknowledge the flow and delivery from Quavo and Takeoff being able to complement each other pretty well, as if there wasn't a whole third person in this group like a year ago. But honestly, when going through this project, there isn't really much for me to really dive into or even have the slightest interest in. It just feels like another run-of-the-mill Migos project utilizing big name features and high energy to try and make some more viral hits instead of anything that actually stands out. But as for the production, it was also pretty basic, utilizing a mainstream trap sound with its heavy bass and hats to make for some easily digestible tracks that you can really bop your head to. I mean, you get some slower paced tracks, some more heavy hitting fast paced tracks, and you get some R&B with the song Mixy that I didn't really care for, to be honest, but we do get a nice sample beat with the track bars and the captions, with the hit song So Fresh So Clean from Outkast being used and reworked, with Quavo and Takeoff delivering pretty well to make for one of the better songs from this album. But when it really all comes down to it, aside from bars and the captions, the beats aren't really anything to gleam over, seeming to really match the same level of mid execution that we get from the duo. But as for the features, we got a slew of big names on this project such as Summer Walker and NBA Youngboy, but when it really comes down to it all, it's not like they were anything too crazy either. I think the only feature I really enjoyed hearing was Young Thug on the track Chocolate, with him honestly outdoing everyone on the song, including his own protege Gunna, who instead sounded like he took about 300 bottles of NyQuil before going into the studio. But as for Summer Walker, I can't say that she was one of the weakest features on this album, and I wouldn't even say it's entirely her fault. I mean, it mainly just comes down to how she was used, seeming to hop on this weak ass R&B beat on the track Mixy just to dish out some nice vocals for a verse that served no purpose for a track that didn't even need to be on the album. And then with Youngboy, he did have a good verse, but the song he was on was so annoyingly long and bloated for absolutely no reason. Like, I don't understand why he couldn't just be the finishing verse, because by the time we got to him, we were already 2 minutes into the goddamn song. And then there was also a Birdman feature that I didn't think I'd hear again in the 20 plus years I've been alive, and I don't even want to get into it, nor tell you the track that it's on. I'ma just let you guys sit down and figure that one out. Oh yeah, and there was also a Gucci Mane feature on the track Us Vs Them, but I'm not gonna lie, that whole song was forgettable. But overall, there wasn't really anything from this album that I actually gave a shit about. Sure, it had a few high notes, but they were severely drowned out by the Migos mediocrity that I had to endure for 59 minutes. I mean, they obviously tried to prove that they were just as good without Offset, but I feel like no matter if they had 2, 3, or even 100 people in the group, they'd still just create bland, outdated attempts at a radio hit. So to put this on scale, I'm giving us a strong 2 out of 10, only being listenable if you have nothing else left to play on the aux. But how do you guys feel about Quavo and Takeoff's latest album? What would you rate it? Let me know down in the comments by liking and subscribing, follow my IG and Twitter, and follow the artist as well if you like the illustrations. And on that note, I'll see you on Monday when I apply to become the new 3rd member of the Migos. Peace.
Yeet.